in Musictown, Detroit, recording live. Prepare yourself for a hoppy drive. If you're chilling at home, pop that crowler and just kick back for the next 2 hours. It's the end of the week, so here's to the weekend. It's Better on Draft with Rob, Matt, Nick, and Ken.
And we are live, episode 229, Better on Draft podcast. And it seems every week that we are doing the show, we're adding more and more cameras. As you guys can see on the video, we have a couple of guests here from the same place, so don't worry about that. But I know it's going to be very simple and easy because a lot of us are drinking the same things, compliments of our guests. So I'm going to start with Nick real quick. Nick, what are you drinking over there? How are you? I should be polite.
Oh, I'm doing good, and I'll be feeling pretty good here very soon. I got a hipster brunch and a hipster brunch.
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, you're pulling
a Nick and a Ken.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a Ken right there. The Ken specialty, the double fist of the same beer. There we go. Robert, what's going on? How are you? What are you drinking?
I am doing pretty darn well. I am pretty much pulling a Nick and a Ken at the same time as well, as I just cracked open a Grand River Nut Brown and what I believe is probably, this bottle might be about 2 years old or so. Nice. I have a bourbon barrel aged The Implication.
Oh, man.
So, Nick, you want to talk about feeling nice? I'm going to be feeling nice in about a minute.
Nice.
Wendy, what's up? How are you? And what are you drinking over there?
I am fantastic. I made it through baby week. So my boss had a baby, well, his wife did. And he has been out of the office. So when you were playing with your hair earlier, that's the way I felt all week long. So I am super happy to be sharing some beers today. I am pulling a Nick. I got some mixed berry hard seltzer. It's delicious. And I kind of went a little bit off of my normal and picked up a rum ham to give it a try. Very boozy. That's what I have to say right now. So it should be an interesting show.
Yeah, I grabbed one of those as well, and then the second I grabbed, I said, "Wait a minute! I still have The Implication in the basement."
Well, as everyone's getting fucked up, Dan, what are you drinking over there?
So I'm one-upping Nick here. I'm triple fisting right now. I've got a
few. Hell with you, buddy.
I've got a multiple silver award-winning La Cumbra Malpais Stout out of La Cumbra Brewing. One of the best stouts probably out of New Mexico. Somehow I got this pink lemonade hard seltzer from Odd Side in Arizona. I don't know where I found that. And then I've got my regular wet nose peanut butter stout out of Sleeping Dog, the brewery from Arizona that moved to Chicago.
All right, that's an interesting story. We might have to try to get them on the show and talk about it. So for me, I had kind of like Dan, you had a porch bomb of beer showing up in your, in Arizona. Odd Side Ales in Arizona. That's the next place they're distroing, obviously.
Nice. Should be.
I've got pink lemonade right over here, as well as I've got lemonade and elderflower, and we are bringing in two guests because they're both from Odd Side. I actually got a nice little Odd Side that's I want to warm it up a little bit, but some postponed Derby days. So I'm gonna feel a little better later. But we have two guests in studio. I'm gonna do this live just because. Wes, when you're not talking, if you can mute yourself, that would be great because I'm grabbing feedback on you. But I'm gonna bring you in first. How are you? What's going on? What are you drinking? And why don't you remind everyone what you do at Odd Side?
Hey, what's up, man? I'm doing good. Good to see you guys. It's been a while. I'm the head of sales at Odd Side, and I'm drinking Juicy Contradiction. It's got some legs on it. It was in the back of the fridge, but juicy IPA with some brute enzymes in it. So dry, juicy, all the goodness. Almost tastes like a West Coast, but with that juicy profile. So thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, and under you on the cameras themselves, Sun's Out, Guns Out. John Cole from Witches Has saying he lost his sleeves. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what you do, and welcome back.
What's going on, guys? Good to see you. I'm Josh Gordon. I'm the production manager at Odd Side Ales, and happy to be back. And I'm drinking a Mojito seltzer that was actually canned at some point this week. We've been kind of cranking them out. And it's really hitting the spot, especially without them sleeves. Thanks, John.
Let's talk about cranking them out. How many seltzer SKUs do you have right now? Like, how many different seltzers are you selling?
Wes can correct me, but I feel like we're at about 20, 23, 24 unique SKUs of seltzer.
Wow.
No?
Wes is saying shh. I'm assuming he overed the number because there's some that hasn't been released yet.
Three.
Wes, do you want to correct him or give us some information?
I don't want to correct him. He's pretty. That's the number, but you just haven't seen some of them.
So the seltzer craze is really taking over, and you guys kind of, for lack of better words, odd-sided it. You made 1,000 different variations that you're putting into production and putting on the shelves. Where does Odd Side, like, were you guys embracive of it at the beginning, or were you guys like, what the hell is this? What's going on? Because this seltzer craze has been happening for well over a year now. Now, it hasn't been like Michigan seltzer craze, like everyone making one, but it's been well over a year now where just about everyone and their father started to make one.
Who wants it, buddy? You want?
What?
Josh, he wants you to answer it.
All right. So like we started messing around with them back last fall with a 7% version. And to be honest, I was not on board in the least with us doing them at all. I didn't like them. I didn't like any ones I've ever had. Wasn't on board. I thought we were just kind of fad hopping and chasing something that was already popular, and it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. That being said, since the last fall, we've tweaked the recipe a lot, and I'm like way on board. It's pretty much all I drink at home. I don't look forward to as much, the days that we're doing beer as the days we're doing seltzer. It seems like the rest of the state agrees with me. And then, yeah, we definitely odd-sided it. It's like, oh, cool, this is selling good. These flavors are good. Let's do 50. And then, see what sticks. And, that's kind of what we're doing. So now we're in the process of kind of dialing it back because the demand is a little bit higher. We need to kind of control it, limit the amount of options, but then increase the quantity, which is what we started doing in the past month. And, it's been incredible. I'm in the process of actually hiring and training a second shift for packaging, specifically because of these seltzers, for the first time ever. And we're doubling, what our output is pretty much all of a sudden, in some crazy times out there, that we feel pretty lucky to be able to be doing that. And yeah, it's just been it's been crazy. I'm definitely on board. Not on board with all the flavors. I'll still drink all of them without a doubt. I'm not gonna turn any of them down. But yeah, we're pretty balls to the wall with it, to be honest.
So I mean, with a lot of those flavors, I guess the thing you're talking about putting 50 of them out there. I mean, is there ever a point where it seems like all of those flavors that you guys are making are too much? Because it almost feels like, when you walk into a liquor store and you see 30 different flavors of vodka, and it's like, okay, do we really need to make that many?
Yes.
You gotta keep it interesting. I get that.
I mean, come on, Rob. Sometimes I want 5 o'clock. Sometimes I want Ciroc. I mean, you got to have a variety.
But they don't make a bubblegum 5 o'clock, Dan. That's the problem.
Wait.
Well, maybe they should.
Not yet. They don't.
Yeah. Next month we're gonna see it at the store.
There you go.
Okay, Kat, I think you had something.
Yeah, the seltzer craze is just, I think I think hit everyone and shocked everyone. Now, Josh, you said you weren't necessarily a fan at the beginning, when like White Claws and Truly were kind of taking over the world. Wes, what about you? Were you really into the seltzers themselves prior to Odd Side joining the game?
No, I hated seltzers. I hated water in general. I hate water. Water's the worst. I pretty much only drank beer and maybe some juice and liquor. That's not to like be weird. I just hated water, and it was really weird. And I hated carbonated water even worse, more than regular water, like non-carbonated water. So it was really hard for me. But when Odd Side hit it on the 7%, it tasted like booze. So it kind of grabbed me in right away, where I was like, okay, ours is a little less carbonated, a little less bitter. To me on my palate, and I felt good about it. It was boozy. It tasted like alcohol, and I was like, all right, this isn't some wussy water. This is 7% water. So it really grabbed me, and then everything else is just like Josh said it. We went Willy Wonka with it, made a bunch of flavors. I think that they're all awesome. Like, we've had crazy exposure and feedback about them, but we're definitely going to hone it in. I mean, we're going to slow it down per month. We'll still do a lot of flavors though, and we're going to do some new stuff, and we're going to push the boundaries. We're going to, we're looking at a lot of things coming in the next 18 months. So we're pretty excited.
Well, you mentioned pushing some boundaries and doing some different experimentation. You guys are distilling now, correct?
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you, Josh. Someone's got to answer.
Minimally, yes. Out of the pub. We got our distiller's license there about a year ago, and we're doing some distilling out of there, and then buying a lot in bond, and kind of messing around with, kind of what we can do, as far as like draft cocktails go, and weird hybrids of, part draft, part finished by bartender cocktails, and stuff like that. But that's all exclusively, out of the pub, and the guys that are doing it down there are really killing it.
Are you guys sticking to a specific style of liquor, or are you guys gonna kind of just try to figure out where your groove is? Like, you'll make a little vodka, a little whiskey, and just try to see what sticks. I mean, I assume there's already 18 different variations of a rye whiskey you have.
So far, only one. But no, we're doing good. We we released a rye whiskey, pretty small, just one barrel, so 50 gallons. And it was a rye whiskey we bought in bond and then finished in a barrel that we housed maple syrup in for a year.
For people, I hate to interrupt, but I just want for people to understand, what does buying in bond mean?
So it's a legal way for us as a manufacturer to purchase already furnished and finished spirits, like from a distiller. So we purchase these spirits from a distiller, we make them our own and manufacture them in some way, and then we can resell them under our own name, with the added side note of where it was actually produced from the get-go.
Is this a common procedure in the distilling and production of distilled spirits industry, or is it just something you guys are doing until you get your feet wet?
I think it's pretty common. There's a lot of distilleries, even around us, that are straight up only distilleries. They're not breweries or anything, with distiller's license. There are distilleries that still buy all their spirits in bond, and then they'll purchase that, manufacture it in their own way. They'll even repackage it. I'll see it on stores at my local place or even Meyer. It's a pretty common practice. This is just an easy way for us to put our feet in that venture, especially for the pub, and then also not have a huge outlay and a lot of time and energy spent into getting the distilling part right, when somebody else has already clearly gotten it more right than we will in a long time.
So speaking of distribution, Wes, how many states is Odd Side in right now? Are you guys just Michigan only, or?
We're not Michigan only. We're in 9 states.
I'm trying to lead you into questions. You gotta.
You're a great interviewer. We're 9 states. 10 Texas was the most recent in October, and they are a beast. Shout out to Flood Distributing down there. They're kind of like the M4 of Texas, but statewide as far as their portfolio goes, except M4 doesn't have us. Yeah, we're not Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, Kentucky, Texas.
So I hope this question is for you because I'm curious. How do you decide what states you want to go into, and what's the procedure like when breweries actually go and do this?
It's a lot like going on a date, first date, a second date, maybe a third date. The first date is like you play nice, you're professional. Maybe the second date happens on the first date, and then you're not professional, and you go out and get pretty saucy with said people and get to know them. And that's pretty much the process of, you want to meet them. Sometimes they're through, like Texas was our brand manager of Wisconsin recommended his buddy. I think they were best man in each other's wedding. And he owns a distributor in Texas, happens to be statewide. Wow. And they love Odd Side. Oh, they've had Odd Side. Oh, great. That was an easy one. From Illinois to Wisconsin was the same distributor at Breakthrough. So it was an easy transition with the computer system and such like that. It could be a multitude of things. Sometimes it's meeting people. In Ohio, they're a big house and they felt like they could do legs with us. So it all depends, and it's all, setting the cusp of what the rules are going to be, what you want to do, what each of you pledge to do, and then sign a contract and go to work.
Where do you see Odd Side in the next couple of years? Like, do you have some states or places that you want to go? And this could be just Wes sales manager, wish list.
If I'm going to be fully honest.
Well, I hope you're honest.
Yeah. The next, what was the timeline? 2 years, 5 years?
You tell me.
Whatever.
I mean, we're gonna probably double in size in the next 18 months. But I would prefer not to go into more states at all. In fact, I think we can do more closer to home. But also, it's really tough. We're in the middle of a pandemic. We, are seeing dips in profits and money coming in through the pub, obviously, with the lack of capacity. And we don't know how long that's going to last. So we need to hold on to what we have right now and try and grow with who we have right now and not be aggressive, but be aggressive with the people we have relationships with. So we have to do it within our means. And it's it's a convoluted answer at this point, right? If it was normal circumstance, I'd be saying 5 more states and triple, quadruple in size in 5 years. So we always live within our means. We're not owned by big money. We're owned by an individual man and a family, the mission, and we have to live within their means as well. So we grow and that's how we grow. Grow slow, but when we can go fast, like this year with these seltzers, we can go fast.
I think your mic is kind of
flailing
a little bit.
Yeah, it's trying to pick up some background. If you have any noise going on in the back, Wes. No.
Oh. All right. But I did have a question. Obviously, two-parter. I guess we'll start with the first part because you had mentioned about you guys expanding, but staying within the states that you guys are already in. So as far as that expansion, obviously you guys have already done the expansion that has happened at the tap room, and I still am a little sad that I missed that because I believe at the time you guys were doing the expansion, I was looking for spots to take my brother for his bachelor party, and you guys were closed while you were doing the expansion. So I was a little sad about that. I still haven't got a chance to get out there. But I guess talk to us about this expansion and what you guys are really doing in terms of that. Was that a point to Josh?
About to say the beauties of live radio. Just
I
pointing
got
at
it.
each other on the cans.
So the expansion of the pub has been tremendous. It's we took over the coffee grounds that was out front of Washington, kind of made it our own, remodeled everything. We have a really large space, 7,500 square feet, massive wraparound bar. We have coffee now with a distiller's license. We have draft cocktail. We have wine on tap, cider. Pretty much a little bit something for everyone. As far as like the distribution expansion that Wes was talking about, with these hard seltzers, we're able to essentially tap into a brand new market. So we already have, our beer market is established. Obviously, it's not anything we take for granted, something we still work hard, especially Wes on. But these seltzers tap into a whole new demographic. So that's that expansion that we can kind of still stay, close to home while, while increasing our volume exponentially with the addition of these seltzers.
Nice. Okay. And I guess the other part, well, actually now this has become a three-parter, because now reminding me of when I was actually at the bar, there was a mixed beer that you guys had. It was called Afternoon Delight, and it was a special blend of Morning Wood and like two of your guys' other barrel-aged stouts, and that damn thing was amazing. You guys gotta can that or bottle that, do something, put that back out there. Just throwing that one out there. Afternoon Light, make it, can it, distribute it. But my other side of the question, going to now obviously the coronavirus, which, obviously it took everybody and all of our breweries and shut them down. Back in March, I know you guys had shut down for a short period in mid-March, and then reopened for basically takeout only. But I guess for both of you to kind of give us what your experiences have been personally with trying to navigate selling beer during this time, and between from that to layoffs to coming back to, I mean, how's it been?
Wes?
Yeah. I mean, it was probably like anybody else has dealt with it. Initially, it was pretty humbling. I took a 6-week furlough kind of, right after my other rep, Marty, and he's still on furlough. So, I mean, everything, it changed the landscape of everything. And we, adapted. Our pub opened up, and we had to, fight for space on the streets as far as the company goes. And selling beer, I mean, it completely changed. I haven't done an event since it. I haven't done a sampling. I haven't, I'm not actively going into accounts. I am hitting up what I can on a computer, a phone, text, email. I mean, that is life right now. For me, as a salesperson, that's trying to manage a, 10,000 barrel company of sales, essentially by myself with the sales team. Not to say that I'm doing too much, because, we do it within reason. We have a good system. So, I mean, it changed everything, really. Josh probably got a totally different angle on it, being from the packaging and production side.
Yeah, I mean, like for me personally, it's definitely been weird. I guess I was lucky enough to not to not necessarily have much change as far as workflow goes. We furloughed basically all of our plant employees for 6 weeks. Right after St. Patrick's Day weekend, or like that week after that, when all the bars got shut down, and our pub had to close. So it was myself and then our two other salary managers, kind of putzing through the beer that was left in the tank, maybe brewing a one-off, 30 barrel batch of bean flicker if our distributor needed it for cans, doing all the cellar work, doing all the packaging, kind of OG stuff, back in the thick of it. And, we did that for 6 weeks until we were able to bring all of our employees back, and I've kind of been running nonstop ever since. It's been kind of weird. I do feel lucky that I was able to work for the whole time. But then,
Hey,
right. But my right.
I'm coming in. I'm popping in.
Popping in.
Josh, we're really good right now. I don't like it. We're really heavy. I love it, but I don't like it. Josh earned this weight. He was one of the longest tenured employees at Odd Side. I am so happy that we were able to keep some people on. I mean, people got to understand how small of a company we really are. We put out way more than what our employees would tell you as far as the numbers of employees that we employ. So thank you, brother.
Yeah.
I had to pop in.
No, all good. It was rough. I was lucky to still be at work, and I'm definitely happy with the way it's turned out, and kind of all the guys we brought back, hit the ground running. And we've definitely been running ever since.
So I remember reading an article on, I think it was MLive, a few months ago, where they talked about some of the trials that you guys were facing. And they had said that of the 9 states that you were in, there was only 2 that the sales were actually still up. And one of them was Texas, which I thought was funny. Especially since back in last summer, a girl in my beer group actually was begging people to send Odd Side to Texas. So it doesn't surprise me at all that they're a huge fan, because you've got quite a few that I've seen just online. But my question really is, have you seen that change? Have those states started coming back?
Yeah. First of all, Texas was like, in the infant stages of distribution. So, it's like the honeymoon where you're just like, bang, yeah, we're doing great. All right, order up. Same quantity every month? Sure. Send more if you got it. Oh, we don't have more. All right, send what you got. I mean, it was really nuts. And they're still like that. And it's such a big state that, I mean, even during a pandemic, it's driving. I mean, we're just doing, plenty of volume down there. They can hit it in pockets. I hit Houston in October. It was a really awesome time. But yeah, I mean, everyone's come back. Let's just put it that way. Come September, we'll have all 9 states have ordered since the lockdown. I mean, everyone's been so wishy-washy with what's going on in each state. That's the problem. At one point we had Pennsylvania say the bars are shut down, and then Michigan was shut down, and then soon it was only Texas that was actually like open as far as bars. So we had, a lot of kegs to figure out what to do with. So we definitely bit the bullet on some of that stuff, and that's just kind of with it. What comes with the scenery, but yeah, they're all back. We're super thankful for that. Good question, Wendy. Thank you.
In regards to, there, I fucking said it. Damn it! I tried the whole show not to say in regards to.
There you go.
So everyone, you got a drink. No, this is more for Josh, because I'm trying not to say it again. How are you guys? Yeah, thank you, Dan. How are you guys changing the packaging of your beer and seltzer and everything? Because obviously you have to keg less. Are you canning more and trying to stay in the same production amount and just trying to get it to more places where it'll last longer? Obviously in cans as opposed to in a keg that won't get tapped for a while. Like how was that change?
Oh, absolutely. It's really to fill a keg happens a lot quicker, based on gallonage, and fill the same, appropriate amount of cans. So we've just, been up in the label orders, and spending more labor time on the canning line, as far as, instead of, let's can these 800 cases, we're going to keg the rest. No, we're going to can all 1,000 cases, for instance.
Give me guesses. I don't need exact numbers. I don't need what's your percentage more of canning and what's your percentage less of kegging?
Oh, that'd be
just guesses. I don't need exacts.
Guesses. So like normally a 30 barrel tank, for instance, I would can 320 cases, and I would have about 120 gallons worth of kegs. those extra 120 gallons are now going into cans, and maybe I'll get 1 or 2 kegs.
Really?
We're super limited, and the kegs are pretty much an on-demand. I mean, Wes, correct me if I'm wrong, but the kegs are pretty much an on-demand thing. Like, hey, we need some kegs, and then cool, we'll fill them. But I'm not stockpiling kegs of any kind unless it's for the pub. Which, and even then, it's still obviously not doing the volume that it was, last summer or anything else like that. We're definitely packaging, in cans, more than I've ever seen since I've worked there.
So I have a follow-up to that then. Is the can shortage catching up to you guys yet? Because I can tell you out here, there's a lot of places that are having to cut back on what they produce because it normally goes in cans, and they have to choose what they're using their cans for because it's getting harder and harder in order to get the supply.
So far, thankfully, knock on wood, we have not experienced that. We have a pretty good relationship with Ball, the biggest can manufacturer who we get our cans directly from, and that's not been affected. We still have a good, a reasonable lead time on our orders as far as those go, and we have not thankfully experienced that, and hopefully I don't see that, because that would really change a lot of the landscape. Nobody wants to drink a seltzer out of a bottle.
No, not at all. So that would be pretty bougie. I mean, you could go that route. You'd probably be about the only one if you think about it.
Yeah, I can't fucking shotgun it though.
Wait, who would want a shotgun of seltzer is what I want to know.
I was gonna say you could just chug it real fast. It's not the hardest thing to drink.
That's fun.
I guess here's the thing with and for me, seltzers, I am very particular, because if you're going to make a seltzer, it better damn well have the flavor it says on the can.
Oh yeah.
There's quite a few that are pretty much like whenever I spend a night at somebody's house and their mom made the Kool-Aid and didn't put enough damn sugar in it.
I hate that.
Sleeping at my mom's house?
Some people just don't know how to make Kool-Aid, and the people who don't know how to make Kool-Aid pretty much always seems like it's the same people who make the seltzers. But one comment I just saw on the group, it's been a while, but good old Dave Danger is his middle name, Jonathan Danger Cole. He said that you guys make the best seltzer out there. For myself personally, the best seltzer that I've had so far comes from Liberty Street, because theirs have been spot on for me. For those, and I mean, for the seltzers that are out there, people who don't drink seltzers, I guess pull a wolf on Wall Street. Sell me this pen. Sell me your seltzer and why I should be having your seltzer.
That's you, Wes. That's all you.
Yeah, no shit. So find me another seltzer with as bold of a flavor and not as bitter of a carbonation that is 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and gluten-free. I dare you.
I mean, isn't Corona seltzer pretty close to that?
Yeah, but ours tastes
They
better.
are.
Oh, yours tastes way better. I'm not even going to disagree with that. You said find one, and I did.
Yeah, honestly, so the bottom line is gluten-free, 0 sugar, 0 carbs. I have found like 3 or 4 distributed brands that, I mean, I could dig deeper, but there wasn't many. It wasn't White Claw, it wasn't a lot of seltzers being made. And that's not to say that that's the bottom line for all seltzers, because I've had plenty of seltzers that are delicious and have sugar and carbs and more calories.
Oh yeah.
And I'm plenty fond of it. But yeah, that's my sales pitch on our seltzers. If you're looking for the category and what it's supposed to be as far as calorie conscious, nutritional value, and still to have the flavor, it's next level, and I'm ridiculously proud of it, obviously.
Did he sell you, Rob?
I think I'll try, Cam. I'm all right. We'll get it done. I tried to find some when I was out in the store today, And unfortunately, I tried 2 stores. I ended up leaving the house late to go out and look, and was getting dinner for the kids. And before I knew it, it was already 6:15. So I just grabbed what I could grab at the store. And ended up they had a little variety 4-pack of the Grand River Nut Brown, the Fuzzy IPA. There was a pepper thing, like a pepper beer. I got to find that sucker. And something else. So it was like a neat, like nifty 4-pack, which actually, for other breweries, almost like take note of that, because there are some people who don't just want a 6-pack or a 4-pack of the same thing.
That's true.
That, when I saw that 4-pack and I saw that variety, I was like, at first I looked at it, I was like, oh, somebody was being slick and was switching cans in here. And then I looked at it, I was like, wait, no, all 4 cans are different. And, obviously, if you like one of those styles, that you'll want all 4 to be the same. But it was really cool to see that and almost see it like going to a store and buying a flight of my cans and getting that Grand River, getting the Fussy IPA, and the other 2 that I'm looking forward to trying, because they're all going to be different. So,
well, didn't Josh say there's 24 different seltzers or so? That's a 24 pack right there. Maybe it's 23 different ones and then 1 bonus of a double.
Well, yeah.
Ken, I gotta tell you this, right? So every once in a while, I'll come in all strung out, like I slept like 4 hours or something, and all I did was send myself emails about reminders of shit while I was, hanging out by myself until 4 in the morning or some shit. But listen, every once in a while, I'll go to the guys and I'll be like, hey, we should do a cube of FU 2020, and there's 30 different seltzers in there, and they all are a different event in 2020. And they're like, no, that's a terrible idea. You know how hard that would be to do? Cool. They're like, no, shut up. Don't say that to anybody.
That would basically
I'd buy that in an instant.
Yeah, that would basically be that would be the summer version of Rochester Mills 12 Days of Christmas.
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
But that was hard.
I mean, if you break it down to 12, like I think you could get a lot of people to do a 12 the 12 Days of Summer seltzer series and 12 different seltzers, because I would definitely buy that in a heartbeat, so that I don't. Now, mind you, seltzers, I don't feel like seltzers are too crazy of an investment on a beer, for the sense to where some beers, like there are beers that you've bought and you buy a 4-pack, a 6-pack, a bomber or whatever, and the beer is just not that good at all. But in regards to like seltzer, there's your little Das Pills over there on the screen. Remember, guys, if you're watching, you can go to facebook.com/Better on Draft. You could join us live at 7 p.m. And you know where you could probably find Das Pills is maybe over at Zatuna Liquor over on Rochester Hills, just south of M59. Wes is telling me no, but he could buy other Odd Side stuff over at Zatuna Liquor over on Rochester Road, just south of M59. I know you could buy Odd Side stuff there. Maybe not that pills, but other Odd Side stuff. Go check out Jack. Now, this might be, I don't know which, if you guys are familiar with the Smooch series, which I believe is Holmes series of seltzers. I'm sorry, Rob?
Smooch, I believe. Oh, wait. Well, I guess I'm not sure. I always hear Smooch that is from Imprint Brewing, but that may be talking about a different thing.
Wes is saying no. What is your guys' opinions on the Smooch styles?
Right. So let me get this straight, right? This is a question to you back, because I'm not on that side of the state. Is it Trubado? Is that their brand?
Yeah, Trobado, or I don't remember the. I don't remember.
Well, either way,
Trubado, Troobado.
Trubado. Okay, yeah. So the Smooch, yes, I haven't had it. I live over here, so I don't have access. I'm gonna have to have an Ann Arbor person pick me up some. But yeah, so basically it's like a seltzer with a bunch of, I'm not talking bad about it, but it's a seltzer made like a seltzer, but with fruit puree, right? That's what it looks like?
I believe so. I'm
okay.
I'm on Untapped, so take it for what it is. It says heavily fruited hard seltzer loaded with all natural raspberry and mango. Technically a seltzer, but with a thick smoothie-like texture, gluten-free, dairy-free. That is the raspberry mango smooch from Trubado.
Yes, I mean, I'm a lush, so I love everything sweet and fruity. So see, he's pointing at me. He knows I'm a lush. So yeah, sign me up. I don't need it to be a clear seltzer. You give me that all day. It's just like that Untitled art. That's delicious. Shout out to M4.
So you guys have a bunch of releases coming up soon, don't you? Some stuff in August, some stuff in September.
Tell them about the cans, Wes. Tell them about the cans. Should I? All right. So Hazel's
What was
nuts.
that?
I was going to have you tell him, but I guess I'll tell him because I'm more excited. As the production manager who oversees all the packaging, y'all don't have any idea how excited I am to announce that Hazel's Nuts will be in cans this year.
Oh, man.
Y'all want to talk about shotgunning? All right.
Can we get a video of you shotgunning Hazel's Nuts?
Hey,
Yes.
send me some and I'll do it too. Shit.
Yeah. We could Zoom call some Hazelnut shotgun.
I'll
Oh,
check
boy.
it, but I don't know about shotgun.
I'm in like if you give me, I don't know what it is about shotgunning, but if you give me like a can, a pitch, not a can, or a can, a pitcher, a pint glass or something like that, I got no problem throwing it back. But like shotgunning just blows my mind how that like it's just such a weird thing. I've only shotgunned once, and that was a Norm's raggedy ass IPA. And that was probably the worst experience I've ever had in life.
Why did you choose that beer of all beers to shotgun?
Because it was the beer that was in front of me.
Well, that's like meth, and then being like, oh, I don't know drugs.
You were
I'm gonna start with something cheap like pot, but a Busch Light. You gotta shotgun something crappy first.
Need a gateway shotgun.
Yeah. Need a PBR or something.
I'm about to say, Ken, I'm in the same wheelhouse as you. I've only shotgunned one beer, and it was a Labatt Blue.
See, that's all. That's more in the realm.
That's more of the realm.
So,
I guess.
What's up with all these new releases, Wes? We got Hazel's Nuts in a can, or Josh? I don't care.
All right, I got this. Don't worry. The Hazel's Nuts in a can, he's just messing around. He's just messing around. We're going to give you a little bit more than that. All right, so September through, let's call it mid-October. So let's do the September releases. We got, we've already announced. So we got Hazel's Nuts, the OG. She does not have a beard anymore. It's a prequel. So she now has a basket of nuts and is a lovely young lady. And with that said, we decided to have the little harvest with her. So we're doing Hazel's Nuts with raspberries, Hazel's Nuts with some toasted marshmallow and coconut. And then Bon Bon de la Muerte. We've got a big imperial stout, bourbon barrel. With Dead Sea salt and chocolate. It means chocolate of death. Day of the Dead kind of thing, released it much before Halloween. We've got the triple barrel sweet potato. I'm going to probably torch this, but I'm pretty sure it's in a rye whiskey barrel, a rye chocolate whiskey barrel, and then a rum barrel. And then what am I missing? Bluegrass breakfast, basically rye hipster with pecan. So there's two I didn't mention. Bluegrass breakfast was a bit. Oh yes, good stuff, Nick. But Bluegrass breakfast was a Binny's one-off, basically with their barrels, and was rye hipster, and they wanted pecans added. And then the two I did not mention that we have not made announcements about was a salted caramel smoked porter. Smoke them if you got them. And then we have our banana nut French toast beer. So that it's called banana nut French toast. It's basically if you ever had Freedom Toast, it was kind of like a one-off. We took kind of Freedom Toast, dialed it in, and doubled it up, threw it in a barrel, and yeah, added some banana and nuts to it, and it's going to be the afternoon delight. I tell you that right now, morning chef style.
So what you're telling us right now is that I can kiss my travel budget for the year goodbye, because it's all going to go to beer.
Stimulus check is ours.
I'm curious because you mentioned afternoon delight, and obviously that there's a few references to that. And you guys do a lot of references within your beers, and I guess this is maybe for Josh with the whole Stone suing everyone. Are you guys worried about like Miramax or whoever owns like the Office or not Office, Always Sunny coming for you guys, or like what? I think I'd be scared right now.
No, I think worst case scenario we'll get some press, and I feel like best case scenario, like the guys brew a beer, or the gang brews a beer.
Like if we sent some to Danny DeVito, he'd probably be all about it.
Face off that label.
Honestly, we don't make enough of the Sunny beers. It's more of like the gimmick. You know what I mean? The batch sizes aren't huge. There's a few of them that got big, but for the most part, if they were to sue us over it like blindly without even a CFP, like they'd probably recover like tens of thousands of dollars, like max. Let's be honest. Like we haven't made that much.
Now the chat has been throwing us questions. We've asked a few of them throughout the interview. Somebody does have a question. This is probably more geared towards Josh. There's actually two questions. The first one is that was something off on the last seltzer batch? Same off flavor as their original, especially the blue raspberry. Nothing that you know of?
As he's cracking one.
There's nothing that I know of. I would have to know more about what the recent batch was, or what the
if someone were to have an issue with your beer, where would they not file a complaint, but give you hey, I think something's off? Because we had it most recently, I believe, with the oxidation issue with B43 over at Old Nation, which they were aware of, and they're like, all right, well, we got this issue. Like, if somebody has that kind of issue, how do they get in touch with Odd Side?
Well, there's a generic email that's info@oddsideales.com, and they can just shoot that right there, and then that will funnel it into the appropriate response team, I guess, so to speak.
Perfect.
Yeah, there's nothing. So, like, to answer that question, there's nothing that we know about, and we do sensory on these constantly, and not only that, we all drink them at home.
I don't know if Wes drinking every night is considered sensory.
We call it sensory.
The other question on here was opinion, and I guess I'll get your guys' opinions on this. Talking about how Hazel's nuts will not age well in a can. Production manager.
I mean,
Drink it fresh.
For why? I guess I don't. So I mean, we for the last 5 years, we've been or 3 years, 4 years. We've been flash pasteurizing our beer. I guess it depends on what they want to develop, and I guess what they're looking for when they say age. Beer. We already age it. It's in a barrel for the amount of time that we deem necessary for it to get the flavors that we want, and then we package it when we feel it's ready. So anything beyond that, I'm not sure what people are necessarily looking for beyond that. But there's no, I guess, scientific, as far as I know, or other reason I can think of that would make it age differently in a can versus a bottle.
That kind of goes back to. That's right. Go ahead, Wes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, if anything, a can is always a better vessel.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that that kind of goes back to a few years ago when people were complaining about not being able to age things like barrel aged Imperial Mayan Mocha and all of those back then, when you guys didn't have on your bottles that you shouldn't age them anyway. I mean, I can't remember who we had on before that said it, but I thought that they said it pretty well, was that when we put it in a bottle or when we put it in a can, that is when we think it's ready for you to drink. If you want to age it at that point, then that's up to you and that's at your risk. And whatever develops from that point is at your discretion of what you're doing with the beer. So when we can it and we put it out to you, that's when we want you to drink it.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, we're going to be taking a break here shortly. We're going to start going over the news after the break. You guys are welcome to stay. If not, obviously, you're more than welcome to head off. I know everyone has stuff to do on a Friday night. But I want to kind of end this conversation on a fun little happy note. Because I think the best part about Better on Draft is getting to know you guys a little bit more personally. So we'll start with Josh, and then I'll move to Wes. Josh, if I open up your refrigerator, what's the first non-Odd Side Ale beer I'm going to see?
Hams.
Ham.
Oh gosh!
Wow.
Or High Life.
Or PBR.
Okay. All right.
I mean, that's to be honest, we talk about it all the time, but Hams, PBR, High Life, like those beers are consistent in a lot of brewers' cycles. I've seen a lot of brewers who just drink it at beer festivals, and I'm like, there's 1,000 different beers here, and you want that? And they're like, I that's just what I'm in the mood for.
Pipe and Brock comes to mind with that.
Pipe and Brock, yeah.
And bring them in at an Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
But to say, those three beers that Josh mentioned were the only kegs we ever got at the frat house keg.
Yeah.
There you
That
go.
was it. It was Hams, PBR, or High Life. Nothing else. That's it.
What about you, Wes? What's the first non-Odd Side beer that I'm opening up in your fridge?
I mean, you want me to be brutally honest or what?
I want you to be brutally honest. We don't care.
Yes.
It's all about being fun.
You're not gonna find another beer. I don't buy beer, so I get Odd Side beer because I love beer. But honestly, that's the honest truth. I'm just broke, and I love beer, and I love our beer. So that's what I do. But I love other people's beer. Like, I trade with beer reps all the time and bring them to the boys or bring them home and do some research on everybody else. So free beer is always in my fridge. And then if I were to take a guess, or like if I had my choice of buying it all the time, I would say any fruited sour from New Glarus.
Ooh.
Wow.
Nice.
Any of them.
Well,
Very nice.
Wes, Josh, thank you so much for joining us. Again, obviously, you are welcome to stay for the news segment. If not, no big deal. We appreciate it. We'll be back in about 10 minutes with the better. Oh my God, I am failing on
The news.
podcast.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
For the city, trouble in my mind. I'm way too young and pretty for things to be unkind. Time is all we have now, so let's make something while we can. I'm headed for the city to make me start again. Conversation now and then. Gotta go, gotta get it. Don't make things go south, baby. Oh, 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 yeah. Oh, 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 oh. I'm headed for the city. See what I can unwind. Always gotta start it to dictate, make it in this life. Time is all we have now, so let's position now one day. Gotta go, gotta get it. Don't make things go south, baby. Oh, 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 yeah. Oh, 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 These eyes ain't looking back home. No, I'm now by myself on this road.
Hey, can we talk freely in here right now?
I'm here. What'd you need? It's hard to
Yeah.
tell if it's
What's up now?
stout or barrel aged stout. We as far as the barrel aged stouts go, we have a few kind of go to recipes that we'll use. Different beers, whether they are more roasty, or different alcohol contents, or more malty or more sweet, and then we'll kind of blend those after the aging is over, to kind of match what we want. We don't do a ton of we were just talking about that, I think, the other day, Wes. We don't do a ton of non barrel aged stouts. We do a couple. We definitely don't do any like imperial stouts that aren't barrel aged. But we just kind of experiment with different levels of sweetness and roastiness, chocolatiness, bitterness, in stouts that will age in barrels, and then kind of blend those to suit the individual beer's needs. I mean, we're Odd Side Ales. We pretty much adjunct, everything, and kind of, fit those beers into what adjuncts, are best suited for them. I'm not positive that answered that question, but it's
So I realized I had. Sorry, Wes. I'll have you talk in a second. When I had my mic muted. So the question was, when you're building a new stout recipe, what are your main considerations, and how do you build out your malt bill and hop additions? I asked Josh as the odd side theory on that. Wes, what were you saying?
I was just saying that we're not brewers, bro. I love you, Dakota, and all your questions. But I sell beer, and he packages and ships and receives and does everything in between. But he doesn't brew the beer. We wish we had a.
I'm gonna be honest. I asked for a brewer. I was like, "Hey, can we get someone who's a professional on this show?" But they sent me these two wackos. So the game is going to be really simple. We're going to be playing a game of over-under. We'll play a couple of rounds. The person with the most points gets absolutely nothing. It's kind of like Whose Line Is It Anyway, except I'm a much more handsome version of Drew Carey. So we're going to start. How's that Das Pills, by the way, Wes? You're just flaunting it on the video, which you can see at facebook.com/betterondraft.
Das Pills! It's so good. German style Pilsner.
Segment 2, we'll get everyone as we go through this first round of over under. Nick, what are you drinking? And I need you to give me a number 1, 2, or 3 because you're starting us off.
Still drinking what I was drinking earlier because they're heavy as shit. And what are the numbers? 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, I've got this Derby thing is 11.5%, so I'm gonna be feeling good after this.
Well, same here. These are about like 10 apiece. We'll go number 2.
Number 2. All right, so Nick is gonna answer this question. Everybody else is gonna guess over or under. Very, very simple. Everyone can get a point. It's not like you just do your best for you. So question number 2 is, the Karman, Karman line represents the boundary between Earth and space. How many miles above sea level is it?
The what line?
The Karman line, Karman line represents the boundary between Earth and space. How many miles above sea level is it? I need you to give me a numerical answer.
Number of miles. What the fuck? I don't know.
That's the whole point. Nobody knows the answer.
1,234.
1,234 miles is the difference between sea level and space. Rob, higher or lower?
All right. I guess to go around with first what we're drinking, since I finished the implication and the nut brown, I have moved on to the New Glarus strawberry rhubarb.
Oh, Rob's going to get fucking drunk tonight.
I'm on to that. Don't worry, Wes. I got you, Wes. I got you. Don't worry. I got you. I am going to say that it is much lower.
Much lower. Josh, higher or lower than 1,234 miles? And what are you drinking? I see that PBR.
I'm drinking my PBR. I've had a bunch of Odd Side hard seltzers. Nothing better to chase them with than the PBR. And I'm also going with much lower.
Wendy, higher or lower?
I am going to say lower.
All right.
Should I tell you what I'm drinking?
Yeah, what are you drinking?
Because I decided to chase my mixed berry seltzer and the rum ham with a mango peach dank juice.
Nice.
Oh.
One of my favorite things to do is pick all the different flavors. We've tried them, everything we can find.
All right. Wendy says lower. Dan, what are you drinking, and higher or lower than 1,234?
I'm drinking an Electron Brown from Old Nation. Now, they distribute out here. They need to start getting this one out here because, goddamn, I rate their beers off because all I ever see are those damn IPAs. But this, and anyways, Nick, you're halfway to the moon with the number you gave, so I'm saying lower.
Well, that's the answer. Wes, what are you drinking, and do you want to guess higher or lower than 1,234 miles?
I am drinking a pub exclusive, maybe a future dip.
I'm so jealous of that.
What?
I'm so jealous of that.
Jealous.
Oh,
Ah,
I'm jealous too. Only for like another second though.
So,
I mean, 500 miles? Are we kidding? That's like the moon.
The correct answer is 62, Nick. 62. Nick says, what the fuck? All right, Robert, it's your turn. 1, 2, or 3.
Josh's kids are watching. I'm not swearing.
1, 2, or 3.
Don't worry about it.
Oh, it's bath time. Okay.
I'm going to go 3.
All right. In what year was the first yacht race across the Atlantic Ocean held?
Does anyone do that anymore?
Oh, all the
yes.
time.
First yacht race.
I think
Kind of a big deal.
the Downey family just did a yacht race or a sailboat race or whatever from Mackinac to Detroit or something recently.
The Austin
that
brothers.
happens every year.
I'm going to say 1897.
1897. So you're going to guess higher or lower. Josh, is it higher or lower than 1897? The first
Higher.
yacht race in the Atlantic Ocean. Higher than 1897. Wendy.
I'm going to say higher.
Wendy says higher. Daniel.
The boating was a bigger thing earlier than that. I'm going to say lower.
Daniel says lower. Wes.
How has no one asked what the definition of a yacht is?
Listen,
That's why I said higher.
do you see this card right here? This is all I got. So don't expect much.
You get no extra info.
Go higher.
Wes says higher. Nicholas.
I'm sure it's been done way early, but organized. I'm going to say higher.
In what year was the first yacht race across the Atlantic Ocean held? The correct answer, 1866.
Oh, I told you.
Dan, the only one getting it correct.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right, so
Damn it, Daniel.
Josh,
Sorry.
I need you to give me a number 1, 2, or 3. The reason for that
Now I
is
need to
that
research when the first
I
yacht
have
was.
I have 3 different things on this card. So you're gonna give me a number, and I'll read off that number.
1.
1. How high is the Hoover Dam in feet?
Oh boy.
Daniel knows this one.
It's not 1,234 miles, just so you know.
No. Feet. Hoover Dam. I'm going 315.
With
315. Wendy, higher or lower?
303. 315.
315. 315. Higher or lower?
Higher.
Wendy says higher. Daniel.
Oh, that's higher.
Wes.
I'll go higher.
Nicholas.
Slightly lower.
And Rob.
Slightly lower. It's like twice as much. It's higher.
725 feet
Oh,
is
Jesus
the correct
Christ.
answer.
I assumed you would know that.
Look, I only cared about the electrical stuff at the Hoover Dam.
You've
I
stood
don't
on
care
that
about the
damn
dam
thing.
itself.
Hold on 1 second. I'm going to tell you guys a quick, 10-second anecdote. I've never seen a kid more in a candy store than Nick at the Hoover Dam looking at all the electricity stuff because he works for DTE.
In wrestling terms, I marked out like a little bitch.
That's awesome.
When I saw all the electrical stuff at the Hoover Dam when we went there, what was it, 7 years ago?
That was a while ago, yeah.
I think we went there for a mutual friend's birthday.
I'm pretty sure it was whatever year the Lions backdoored into the playoffs with a Detroit loss,
Oh,
Dallas
yes.
win, and 4
Yes.
other things happening.
Yep.
Yes, and I remember that same time I made a bet on a UFC fight, and I thought it was
Remember
gonna
that
win.
exactly.
Yeah.
Wendy.
It's a good time.
I got to meet Claire St. Clair that year.
1, 2, or 3, Wendy.
3.
All right, and what year was Sputnik 1 launched?
Oh boy.
1969.
1969, higher or lower, Daniel?
69. That's gonna be lower. That's when we went to the moon, isn't it? Or
I don't
close
know,
to it?
Daniel, but
Yeah,
you're helping
lower.
other people
It's
if you're
lower.
right.
Sorry, it's lower.
If you trust Dan, Wes, higher or lower? You're muted. Try it one more time,
You're good?
Wes.
I'm with lower.
Wes says lower. Nicholas.
Lower.
Rob.
Lower.
Josh.
Lower.
Damn it.
The correct answer, 1967. Not a bad guess.
Ooh.
No, Ken, we went to the moon in
Well,
69.
Yeah.
Dan's helping everyone, that's for sure.
Sorry.
I mean,
It was a hoax anyways,
I'm
right?
Come on. I was on a sound stage.
It was on a sound stage.
Dan, I need your number.
It was
1,
in
2, or
Arizona,
3.
man.
Dan, I need your number. 1, 2, or 3.
2.
2. What is the average length of a human male adult's thigh bone in inches?
Oh, geez.
So this is to 1/100th of an inch. What is the
What did I
average
pick?
average length of a human male adult's thigh bone in inches, and you get to the 100th of an inch?
The fuck? I don't know. 17 inches. I don't know.
17 flat is what Dan says. Wes, higher or lower?
Hundredths of an inch.
Higher.
Wes says higher. Nicholas, you're muted.
Higher?
Nicholas
Yeah,
says
I know.
higher. Again, Nicholas is not the average. Robert. Sorry.
Beat you in time,
I was
buddy.
looking at my leg, but I'm not the average size either. So I'm like, fuck.
Robert.
So you said 17, right?
17, yep.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the group right now. I'm gonna say higher.
Higher. Josh.
I gotta say higher.
Wendy.
Higher.
That is all of you. 19.88 inches.
0.88. Who's gonna guess that?
Listen, I told you it was to the 100th of an inch. All right, Wes, I need a number 1, 2, or 3. He says number 2. Approximately how many people attended the Woodstock Festival in 1969?
When Sputnik 1 launched. They watched.
150,000.
Sorry, you guys you can't talk while Wes is talking.
Sorry.
What was the number?
150,000.
150,000. Nicholas, higher or lower?
Higher.
Robert.
Mind you, that was the good Woodstock year.
Yeah.
That wasn't the one with Limp Bizkit?
No, that was 90. That was 99.
No, I'm sure that had like 2 million people at it.
It's the only one that counts. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, there you go.
Rob, higher or lower than 150K?
Higher.
Rob says higher. Josh.
Higher.
Wendy.
Higher.
Daniel.
I gotta say higher.
The correct answer,
Was I up?
400,000.
Oh damn.
400,000. Going after round 1, Rob and Dan are tied at 5. Josh, Wes, and Wendy at 4. Nick at 3.
Woo!
We'll do
And more than Fire
Round that
Festival,
last.
that's for sure.
shit. We'll
Thanks,
do
Nick.
one more
Yeah,
round.
you're welcome, Wendy.
We'll do one more round and break a tiebreaker if we need to. Nicholas, I need a number 1, 2, or 3.
Well, I get to go again. Number 1 this time.
Number 1. In a random collection of people, what is the minimum number needed to give an even chance of 2 sharing a birthday? In a random collection of people, what is the minimum number needed to give an even chance of 2 sharing a birthday?
This is all you, Nick, because I have no fucking clue.
Is there can I just ask a quick question? Is this a percentage?
Nope, this is a number of people.
To basically have an even chance of having the same birthday.
Yes, of 2 people sharing a birthday.
What does that even fucking mean?
How many people have to be in the room for there to be 2 people to have the same birthday?
For an even chance of 2 people.
Oh,
to
an
have-
even chance. Okay.
An even chance?
I don't know what that means.
50%.
Holy fuck, are you serious? Crap.
Just gotta get
780.
All right, Rob, 780.
I don't even know. I don't even get the answer to the question.
All right. Nick doesn't
here,
get the question. I'm just going to ask another one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all right.
please do.
Because that one's hard.
Wait, I want to
yeah.
know the answer.
The correct
Yeah, what's
answer
the
is
answer?
23.
Oh, I was going to say 18.
It's odds that someone will be. So if one person walks in, what are the odds that the next person shares that birthday? 1 in 365. So now there's 2. Now a third person walks in. That third person meets 1 or 2 of the same of those birthdays. Then the fourth person. So the odds continuously go down until the odds
You
are
asked
1
me.
in
I'm not
1.
a gambler.
Some of us have
I'm a
taken
huge
statistics.
gambler.
Look,
You asked me. I'm not
we're
a gambler.
drinking the minimum percentage ABV on this show this week. You ask easier questions.
All right. So Nick, I'm just going to ask you the next question. How many states border Tennessee?
Oh,
That's a good one. I'm gonna say, let's say 6.
6. Rob, higher or lower?
It is.
Well, it's probably.
It's like Mars Attacks doing the little circle thing.
Did you say higher, Rob?
Rob said higher. Josh.
Higher. He said higher.
Lower.
Josh says lower. Wendy.
Lower.
Wendy says lower. Daniel.
nope, it's higher.
Ooh.
Daniel says higher with confidence. Wes.
Can I say the same?
No,
Yeah.
I will announce if it's the correct answer.
Okay, over then.
I didn't hear you.
Over.
Higher. He said higher.
Thank you. The correct answer is 8.
Ooh, almost.
What are they?
I don't know.
Tennessee,
Dan,
Virginia.
you were very sure in your answer. What are they?
Isn't it like Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, Virginia, Kentucky, Missouri, Arkansas?
Arkansas, yep.
Rob, let's go. 1, 2, or 3.
We'll go 2.
How tall is a fully grown ostrich in feet?
In feet.
In feet. How tall is a fully grown ostrich?
Nine feet.
Rob gets 2 points. That is the correct
answer.
Nice guess.
Come on.
Josh, 1, 2, or 3?
2.
2. How long is the Grand Canyon in miles?
I know what number it's not.
What?
What
I
was
know
that,
what
Josh?
number it isn't.
0.
You're talking diameter, circumference?
How long is the Grand Canyon? So I'm guessing width.
37 miles.
37 miles. Higher or lower, Wendy? Oh, Wendy dropped.
Just lost Wendy on the internet again.
Yeah, because it is not the area. I went to make sure on Wikipedia.
Right.
So Wendy left, so we're just going to go straight to Dan, and I got to fix the scene.
So we're talking length, like from like east to west. We're not talking
Correct.
north to south. Oh, it's bigger, higher.
Higher is what Dan says. Wes.
Higher, way higher.
Wes says higher. Nicholas.
Higher.
Robert.
Like almost 9 times. It is definitely higher.
It is 277 miles.
Wow.
So I was asking, the width is much lower, but
Speaking of, Dan, since you were out there, how many news reports do you see of people getting blown off of the trails in the Grand Canyon, or like walking a donkey down the trails and the wind picking up and throwing someone into it?
I haven't seen anything since that one person fell off like during the 4th of July. After that, I haven't seen anything since.
My dad hiked to the Grand Canyon, and no. That's a no for me, dog.
Dude, people hike it all the time. Bad stuff happens down there.
I mean, my dad was like 60 when he did it, so he wasn't some young sprite thing. Dan, 1, 2, or 3?
3.
3. In what year did the first McDonald's fast food restaurant open?
Oh, I've watched that fucking movie. 1956.
1956. Wes, higher or lower?
I mean, it's in the 50s somewhere. Lower.
Wes says lower. Nicholas.
What was the question one more time?
In what year did the first McDonald's fast food restaurant open? Dan said 56.
Lower.
Nicholas says lower. Robert.
I hear a lot of typing.
That's me when I type the numbers. It's obviously not Josh.
It is really, really, really close, I think. But I am going to say lower.
Lower. Josh, higher or lower? 56.
Lower.
Josh says lower. The correct answer, 55.
Oh, Jesus.
Dan, 1 off from 2 points. Rob, with that one, secures the win, but Wes can secure second place if he gets it correctly. I need a number 1, 2, or 3.
Give me your 3.
3. In what year was the first successful kidney transplant performed?
1977.
1977. That is not the correct answer. Dan will be able to secure second place, though. Nicholas, higher or lower?
Higher.
All right. Rob?
Kidney transplant.
You already won. Just give me a number.
Yeah, I know.
Just guess.
But
Damn it,
still,
Rob.
he's going for the glory right now.
I am going to say it is lower.
All right. Rob says lower. Joshua.
Lower.
Joshua says lower. Daniel.
Lower.
Daniel says lower. The correct answer, 1954.
Oh, damn.
Oh my God, I was way
Was
off.
that long?
So your top three are going to be Rob with 11 points, Dan with 8, and Wes with 7. Coming in third. Guys, that's going to do it for the game portion. You guys are welcome to stay for the news portion. We appreciate you playing the game. I thought the game would be a lot of fun with a few more people in here. But we will be right back with the Better on Draft podcast.
I say anything, Cusack, no news, let's do that, cause that's good. Who's that? How can I know John Cusack? You whack. You whack. Say, how can I know John Cusack? You whack.
You can catch me at the grocery store hosiery aisle. Over my shoulder, smiles and chattering. Trying to find the pads with wings, the right brand of rice brand. Brandishing the nicest price tag. Just make sure it's organic, gluten-free, and comes from Iceland. More in common with Streisand and Seinfeld than most who rhyme well. More comfortable in delis and wine cellars and at the shelter. Eat smelting gefilte with Sarah Michelle Gellar's assistants. All my relatives distant. Always felt like the misfit. Now I miss shit. Like eating Bisquick and Count Chocula. Been having super high cholesterol since colostrum. My intelligence, the benefit of my genetics. But the cost of them is feeling I'll be accosted in a Holocaust every autumn. Official stories never bought them. Swimming in white water with Hillary Rodham. While Bill went with Sodom in Nolan Richardson's office. Watching Corliss Williamson jogging in hog heaven. Augment the nog head trip with nuggets and chocolate. Cogswell Cogs, Gracely Boggs, Spacely Sprockets. With only change in our pockets, it only changes in pockets. Gentrification, the pain and the coccyx, the coxswain is intoxicated. Headed straight for the rocks, rocks it straight, it still blocks the concentration. Constellation at the top of the Pontchartrain. Who could really say, kid?
I say anything, Cusack, no news, let's do that, cause that's good. Who's that? How can I know John Cusack? You whack. You whack. Say, how can I know John Cusack? Yeah. It's that Kurt Cobain, he did it for the corny love. So it's fuck, so we scoring drugs out the front door of gloves, of which we might see a portion of large, extra large, cause I'm sorta chub. I'm giving y'all raised hands more to touch. Somebody's in the kitchen with vagina cord, order up. I'm trying to break down these borders before I shuffle off this mortal clutch. Wifey supports, I guess she don't think we boring up. Foreign order, foreign rum imported for us for a clutch. We don't use a fourth of the fortune that's afforded us, at least we know that. Growth rap, focus on the whole map. Global view like I was a part of that Apollo program. Not a Rollo throwback, got couple ton of old hands. You never watch your raps, that's your bad. I told your ass, I wanna hold hands, whatever. Slow dance or something. Hold hands while I smartphone low maps, like we don't know they low jacks. Oh snap, broken envelope drop like Bilbo's token. Fuck 'em open aerobe, exposing no skin. Gross point blank stare, going over old shit. Yo. I say anything, Cusack, no news, let's do that, let's do that, let's do that. How can I know John Cusack? You whack.
set. How you not know John Cusack? You say anything, Cusack. No news, let's do that. That's good. Who's that? How you not know John Cusack? You whack. So how you not know John Cusack?
Okay, buddy. I was just trying to cheer us up, so go ahead. Put on some old sad bastard music, see if I can. I don't want to hear old sad bastard music, Barry. I just want something I can ignore.
And we are back, episode 228, Better on Draft podcast. One of the things I want to make sure before 229 Better on Draft podcast. It's always been 229. Let's make sure. Yeah, Mike's moving. Everything's moving. We are good to go. I want to give you guys a little bit of a heads up. We have a busy month of August for sure. We've got some local breweries. We got Saugatuck Brewing coming in next week, August 7th, followed by Listerman Brewing over in August 14th, 231, which we have some Listerman beers that we're going to be able to try. 232, hopefully it will not be live. But we're going to be recording over at Witch's Hat doing their Fury Box unboxing. So we're going to be able to check out all that, as well as at the end of the month, August 28th, the big brewery out there, Weathered Souls, the main brewery that's been doing the Black is Beautiful. They will be on our show live, so definitely write that down. Check it out, August 28th, facebook.com/Better on Draft. You'll be able to listen live and ask questions. And I tell you what, this is the best time to come in to ask questions. Those other times are great, but this is going to be the best time to come in to ask questions.
Ask questions ahead of time, too. Like, if you have something, send it to us.
Oh, for sure. Josh is sitting down. Don't worry, we're live, just so he knows. I got Citra Dank juice because I'm just going to continue going. And I want you all to watch because this is going to be my first sip of Citra Dank juice. I've never had it before. We all know how much I love IPAs. So we'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
He spits it out. Watch.
I mean, he's not making a face yet, so I think he's okay.
I like it.
He likes it.
What?
Oh, no way.
Oh, that means it's got to be a terrible IPA if I like it. Nick, what are you drinking over there? Are you still double fisting those hipster brunches?
I finally just got done with the first one. Now I'm finishing up the rye right now.
There you go.
Everything is so heavy right now. It's like, oh my God, I just finished it.
Robert, what are you drinking over there?
All right, so as I'm trying to contain my excitement of having Weathered Souls and going through the whole Black is Beautiful brew and the fact that they have well over 1,000 breweries across the world that are making that I have just cracked open the Odd Side Fuzzy IPA, which, as the notes at the bottom says, in honor of the first beer they brewed at Odd Side Ales in 2010. So I am going to, and pouring this thing just looks like completely, to paraphrase Dennis Leary, that looks like an IPA flavored IPA. So I am going to. For those who know the coffee flavored coffee joke from Dennis Leary, that's where I was going with that.
Josh, what do you got in your hands?
This is a suspicious looking can, but it's actually a pink lemonade hard seltzer from Odd Side.
Good choice.
All right. Wendy?
So I am finishing up the rum ham. I don't know if I'm a meat and beer kind of girl.
A meat and beer,
but I
like
don't hate it. I don't hate it. I'm still drinking it. But to finish that off, I have the Black Excellence.
Yes.
From Eastern Market
which
Red
I
House.
have to share of all the beers that I have had my Graham try, because she always wants to try what I'm trying. She liked this one.
All right.
She was like, oh, that's tasty. And she actually finished the sample. She didn't hand it back to me. So that is high praise, my friends.
Guys, go check out the Brews Brothers podcast. That's BERWZBROTHAZ. Brews Brothers podcast. We have the episode with Tap That AZ, which is a podcast over in Arizona, which had myself, the Brews Brothers, Wren House, Eastern Market Brewing, and Tap That AZ all on one show to talk about black excellence. Wes is sharing it on the video. Again, if you want to see the video, facebook.com/betterondraft. We are live Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Dan, what are you drinking?
I switched it up. I decided to tone down the ABV unlike the rest of you. I went with a nut brown from Oak Creek Brewing.
God damn it. I feel like after the gift I sent you, I need some return. So
you might see something in the next few days. Hold tight now.
That nut brown's good. I did send you. Have you tried that homebrew that I sent you, by the way?
Not yet. I almost grabbed it, but I didn't know. Have you tried it yet?
I haven't tried my own homebrew.
I didn't want to be the first one. I can go grab it and we can try it right now. That's not a big deal.
I don't have mine. Maybe we'll save it for next week when we have Saga Talk on. Wes,
all right.
How are you finishing the show? What are you drinking?
I'm drinking a Grand River Nut Brown. We were talking about the 4-pack mixed variety that we had. This is one of them. All-time favorite of mine. Super easy drinking. There is no nuts. No nuts were harmed. Also, yes, I support Black Excellence. Was a very easy drinking, high ABV, delicious stout.
Now, how did you get that? How did you get that can?
I don't know, actually. I forget who gave it to me. He might be on the show hosting.
As a thank you, because obviously he hooked myself as well as Dan technically up with some seltzer and dank juice. I gave him a Black Excellence because I know he doesn't get to the east side of the state as much as he wants to.
To promote the Black is Beautiful Weathered Souls, I got that from Mr. Damon out there. Props to you. He hooked me up with one for bringing over some City Belt Black is Beautiful, and I believe they're the blackberry version of that. So either or, but the base is wonderful. So I expect the blackberry to be good as well.
Well, I'm going to have you guys be quiet for about 15 seconds or so while I play this little chime.
Here is Robert with the beer news.
What's funny is that nobody can hear it except for me, and everyone's like laughing, like, what the fuck am I doing? But this is Robert with the beer news. Rob, lay us some news.
What is up? All right, it's got a couple things to go through, and we will go through that for a moment. In a moment, as I go ahead and sponsor North Center Brewing out in Northville, Michigan. Go ahead.
Black is Beautiful release tomorrow.
Black is Beautiful release tomorrow. So definitely, if you guys can get out there and check that out, I am looking forward to definitely checking theirs out as well. I'm trying to get. I'm not trying to be like some of the other guys that are out there who are trying to basically pull a Pokemon and get all of the breweries that they can of Black is Beautiful. I mean, we've got so many breweries that are out here, and there's so many that are in other states that are very difficult to get a hold of because they're in other states. But luckily that there is a group that is on Facebook where people are kind of, collaborating with each other and helping other people out in other states to get that beer out to everyone. But for North Center, if you guys can head out there, that Black is Beautiful release will be out there next or tomorrow rather. So definitely go check that out. So as far as the news, I guess we will go ahead and start with what's going on in Oregon right now, as the Oregon Liquor Control Commission met virtually a couple weeks ago with city and health officials, as well as local distillery, wine, liquor store, and restaurant owners to talk about the continuance of alcohol delivery. Now, delivery was not necessarily a new thing to the state, as it was legal to go ahead and to be able to deliver wine. However, it needed to be completely adapted in order to include malt beverages and then spirits. So the commission supposedly is planning on meeting again to include the public, talking about delivery and making delivery permanent. Now, as of March, and I had to look through a couple sites to try and find this information, but as of March of this year, I'm not sure if it's been updated, but there are 12 states that allow delivery of all alcohol. So we're talking wine, beer, and spirits. There are 31 states that allow beer and wine, and there are 7 states that do not allow delivery of any alcohol. In total, according to the 2019 brewery numbers, that leaves a total of, there's a lot of breweries that are unable to deliver their beer due to these kind of laws, and those laws that need to be changed. It kind of sounds like they're missing out. There's other states that are missing out, at least those 7 that are missing out on curbside, and obviously with what's happening down in the South, that there might be some of those states that are going to get to those areas where they have to shelter in place or have to start shutting down because of their coronavirus numbers that are going up. As far as, and actually talking to Wes and Josh, in terms of the to-go beers, and I know that you guys have been doing deliveries now, that, how has that really helped with your business? And do you think that is going to be something, I guess this is for everybody, do you think that this is something that is going to stay even after we pass, this issues with the coronavirus, that we're going to continue to have beer delivery, and even, as we have right now, cocktail delivery?
Well, I'll let our guests answer first. How has delivery in the state helped or hurt you guys in regards to the laws?
Yeah, so delivery was only, we could have taken a lot more advantage of it, essentially is the easiest way to do it. But we didn't want to harm our distributor partner as well. So we just, we only offered growlers. We could have actually sold package, but it just wasn't as far as a partnership goes, it would have done more harm than not. So we just tried to unload what kegs we had made. We did about 6 counties, I want to say 5. I think we did 5 counties, maybe 6. And then we called it good. That was pretty much it. It was just kind of kicking off before bars were really back to business. And then once they were open, we said, move everything to package, kind of what we said earlier in the first segment.
I was kind of bummed because you just got into when they opened everyththing back up. I was like, oh.
I'm going to be honest with you, and within the state, and we had Pauline Wenzel on, who was one of the huge, and mind you, a lot of these bills were done pre-COVID. So all of these bills were created and made pre-COVID and just happened to get passed during COVID. But I think we need to look at the fact that we need to open up distribution a little bit more. So that not just Odd Side can be able to distribute, but if I'm ordering, like if you guys were, whatever Square Online, whatever point of sale you guys use at Odd Side, like if I could use, to go and with Uber Eats and I could buy alcohol with that, or if I could use a true alcohol third party like Drizzly into the state of Michigan through a lot of liquor stores, like I think that could help us a lot with minimalizing touch points, because that's the big thing is that within the day and age of COVID, if I go up and I go to a liquor store, and whether I wear a mask or not, that's one person to that liquor store that could potentially have COVID that could infect that store or whatever bottles I'm touching. Like if in liquor stores do have a hard time keeping up with inventory, which is fair, especially a lot of places like Zaytuna Liquor who have a lot of singles, a lot of 6-packs, 4-packs. They break down. They have different types of liquors, different sizes, fifths, pints, gallons, etc. So trying to keep track of all of that into a third party, which is I think why it would be great if we had Drizzly. But I think if we had any type of aggregator that would allow us to buy liquor either for curbside pickup easily, whether I could go on and I could decide whether I want to like for Zatouna, if I wanted to go to Zatouna or Manny's over at 19 at DeQuinder or Red Wagon at Auburn and Rochester, like all these other Nino Salvaggio's over at not Square Lake, excuse me. South Boulevard and Rochester Road. I know we're talking local here, and obviously you can imagine 4 or 5 liquor stores within a close space. But if I could shop curbside and pick up or get delivered all of that booze, I would much rather do that than go into a store and increase those touch points. I don't know how you guys feel. I mean, not Josh, Wes, you're in stores every single day. Like, your entire industry is about to change here in 6 months when COVID is over, because it ain't going to be over. It's just going to be post-COVID.
6 months.
Yeah, no, I totally hear where you're coming from, and I mean, I've had stores that had to ship. Our pub had to ship. Stores had to ship. Everyone, I think, realistically, within 1 to 3 years, and that's like a long. I think there's going to be a lot more online sales. I think that Ybor, for example, that just got shut down in Michigan, I think that will be reversed at some point. I don't see any reason with it other than that in particular is outside sales, but the delivery of it, there's no reason why, if you have the infrastructure, you can't support delivery as long as the legalities of it work out. I mean, that's
the big thing with the state of Michigan is the legalities.
Well, that's a big problem too everywhere. Why are we talking about that in 2020? COVID aside, why is it such an issue to get liquor delivered or beer delivered? Why is that a thing in the majority of the country? It really shouldn't be. We're talking,
Wes, I know you're a young guy. Josh, you look a little older, so you might remember the year.
I got to old guys, man. Why you gotta go to
That's awesome. What the hell, man?
But here's the thing is that we're not that far away from when we removed the Christmas Eve law and changed the Sunday morning law in the state of Michigan. We're not that far away from that. Where Michigan, you couldn't buy booze or beer or anything on Sundays until noon. Like these are kind of laws. Wendy's shaking her head.
Oh my God, I totally forgot because I don't normally go out on Sunday mornings, and I went to Aldi's, which is the only grocery store I have been in since March because it's so small, and I grabbed a pack of Oberon because my dad loves it to put on my pack, but I couldn't buy it because it was before noon. Like, the register wouldn't ring it up. I was like,
yeah, if you don't have the license.
I totally forgot about it.
So a big thing about that too,
because I don't go out on Sunday morning.
Sunday morning, Tigers would start at 1 or Sunday afternoon, but the bars couldn't sell beer till noon. So you're at any bar near the stadium up until this law changed. You just sit there and wait till noon before you could actually drink a beer and have any kind of alcohol. It was really bad.
It was. I mean, for me, it was weird when that law was like really a thing, going to the Silver Dome and seeing all these people drink. But yet, if you wanted to go to the Walmart across the street at the time, you couldn't get it until 1 hour prior to kickoff. That I still remember to this very day, my dad teaching me about that crazy freaking law.
Well, let's
many years ago.
Let's bring Wes back into this, because obviously you're the sales manager. What laws are you seeing in other states that are prohibiting you from doing better sales?
I mean, you got to realize what the scope of what Odd Side is. We're not out there. We don't have any other reps in every state. I've been to every state, maybe a few times, but there's nothing crazy. I mean, Texas's laws help us, if anything. Wisconsin's laws, I mean, you can drive drunk 50 times and never go to jail. I mean, they just drink over there. So it's really about state to state. Give me the WTF. Is that what it is?
That's what it is. That's crazy.
Michigan is just, in general, our laws are archaic. They have not caught up to the industry. The industry went like this, and laws went like this. You know, it was a slow curve, whereas the breweries and the capacity of Michigan's brewing went straight up. So the laws need to catch up. They need to get expedited. And I'm hoping that COVID, I mean, kind of silver lining of anything COVID related is that it expedites what should have already been done in any industry. Is the big thing that I'm on board with.
I think I agree with you, and I think one of the big things within the state of Michigan is that we did not, because mind you, and again, we do not talk partisan politics here. So anybody that is in the comments or anything like that is bringing up an R or a D, I don't give fucking two shits. But I don't think you had someone like Pauline Wenzel in the state legislation that was like, let's fucking do this, because that's the difference between what she has gotten done versus what has not been done for decades. And I mean, this craft.
She understands what the industry is here.
Say that again, Wes.
She understands. She understands what the industry is here. You know, she understands how valuable the brewing industry is for Michigan. I mean, there's a reason why we rank so high in the country of number of breweries, and it's because we let them go. We said, "Hey, let's go. Let's brew more beer. Let's get more breweries. Let's release more licenses." That's how the boom happened. I mean, Michigan is nowhere near the other states that are the top 5 in the country yet, because the government allowed us to get those licenses going. They just need to allow us more flexibility to do what we can, and with those small breweries. And we're not small anymore. We're past that point, but we need to support the local small breweries.
Well, let's go on, Rob.
Okay. Well, I guess I was kind of wondering how far that flexibility was going to go, because that actually, I wasn't necessarily thinking about this question until we started to have the conversation. Now, as far as, you know, the research, what I looked up, the 12 states that allow delivery of all alcohol is Washington, California, Arizona, Wyoming, Nebraska, Iowa, Kentucky, Tennessee, Louisiana, Florida, New Hampshire. Now, with the rules and everything that's been changing with delivery, it feels like that this has now become, because of COVID, that we have this precursor where we're going to get to this point where we can actually ship beer across the country. I mean, for the most part, we can almost do that with wine. There's a lot of mead, like one that I was thinking in particular, Superstition Meadery out in Arizona, that could ship here in Michigan. I mean, they already distro here in Michigan, but that they can ship out of state. It's getting to this point where we're dealing with everything that is going on, that we should be able to get to a point where where breweries should be able to ship beer. And I know that definitely plays with the 3-tier system, and being able to distribute that beer to other states that you guys are not already distributing to. But it almost feels like the fact that if wine can do it, if mead can do it, why the fuck can't beer do it?
So I'm gonna make a statement, and I'll have Josh or Wes either agree or disagree. I don't think distributors care until it becomes too much, but at that point, then they have skin in the game to be able to get these beers to come in. Because if I'm buying, say, from Belching Beaver out in California, and I'm buying a 6-pack, not many people are buying it. One here, a 6-pack. But if it's not enough for distro to care, why would they care in the fucking first place? Like, and then if it's enough, they should be like, well, shit, I should talk to Belching Beaver to distro so that I can get it in fucking stores. Now, that's a huge difference because you got to buy a lot more. And let's look at the beers that are coming into distro in our state. I mean, there are a lot of breweries. Hoof Hearted, I think, came into the state. And I say I think because I haven't bought any. But there's these breweries that come into the state. But let's reverse it a little bit. And let's ask Josh. Josh, if let's say Tennessee. Tennessee is not in your distro. Tennessee allows you to send 6-packs to anyone in Tennessee. How much do you need to send before like a distributor is going to pitch a fit?
I mean, other than it not actually being legal.
Well, let's say it's
If
legal.
it were legal.
Let's say
If it were legal, that's a hard. I mean, it'd have to be a lot. I think if it was legal, it'd have to be a lot. I mean, if we're sending, 10 6-packs a month or even a week, I mean, like let's break that down. That's really not a ton. That's probably less than 40 cases a month. At that point, that's a pretty negligible number. For a distributor, it's going to open us up for the whole state.
That's why I think I personally think this would help distribution, because if people are buying it in bulk to the point where a distributor would be necessary, one, I think the brewer would want to deal with the distributor instead of dealing with it on their own to get it to that state or those cities or that area. I mean, I could be fucking wrong, but like if it's minuscule, a distributor won't care, and if it's big enough, they'll want to jump on it, because they'll be like, if I'm a distributor in Tennessee and I see all these people in Wyoming, like, hey, I'll get to you in a second, Wes. All these people, like, hey, are buying my beer. Like, if I'm a distributor in Tennessee, I'm gonna be like calling up, hey, Josh, what's up? I want your fucking beer. Or maybe I'll say, hey, Wes, what's up? I want your beer. And Wes would say,
Josh, fucking make it for me.
So I kind of have a question on the opposite side of that, because Michigan beer lovers are very hardcore Michigan beer lovers.
Homers.
Love Michigan.
Do you feel like we should open up to let more states distribute their beer to us? I guess.
I mean, if I'm going to be...
I think we already do. It's just like...
as a brewer or a brewery, do you feel that we should open up more beers, more states to come into us? Because, I mean, honestly, like, I love Michigan beer, but I also go out of state to get beer all the time. So
yeah.
I'm pretty sure that...
I feel what you're saying. I mean, you want me to answer from like an odd side standpoint? Obviously, I don't want you to be able to distribute hardcore, but I don't think the market is quite there. I think we're way far away from... Tapeworm could have been, it was big. It was big. I mean, I bet Michigan, from the beer groups I viewed, it was a decent size. But I mean, where we want our tax dollars to go is I mean, the big question. I don't want to be like a purist or anything, but if we're going to sit here and say, well, Michigan's the 5th biggest brewery state in the country, like we need to put some backing behind that. We need to literally focus our efforts on Michigan beer, or the people around us are going to disappear in the industry. And people that maybe haven't even gotten a chance, they're in their first year, their second year. No one's producing amazing beer in their first year. And if they are, they're way ahead of their time. So I guess my biggest thing is where do we want our money to go? Because every state's going to be different. Every tax dollar is going to be different. And I've always been a purist for Michigan. Michigan first. I mean, I will drink anything out of state, but I'm going to put my money towards and purchasing towards Michigan beer. And that's how I am. I mean, I love the idea of delivering beer. I just don't see the volume quite there on a direct from brewery system.
Okay, so I want to play devil's advocate here because I'm in Arizona. Hey, I'm in Arizona. You have how many breweries in Michigan? In Arizona, I can get Bell's, I can get Founders, I can get Old Nation. You guys are all Michigan. This is better than that. Number one, why can't I get more than 3 Michigan beers here? number one, why can't I get beers from the rest of the country here in addition to Michigan beers? I think Michigan has this issue where it's like, we're so good, we're number one, we're the best, and everyone's just laughing at you. Perfect example. I'm drinking something from La Cumbra. This is in New Mexico. I'd have to drive 500 miles to go get this or go to the brewery. They got multiple metals right there. Easy to get anywhere. Couldn't get this. You could get this in a lot of states. Probably couldn't get this in Michigan.
Nope.
Drinking a beer, I think they produce this particular one I'm drinking here, but the brewery that owns it's in Chicago, 300 miles away from you guys. Can't get it in Michigan. Can get it in about a quarter of the states. So,
well,
are you guys playing is Michigan playing the game like we're so good, we're better than everyone, but really you're not? Or
No, I don't think they are.
but that's the vibe a lot of people give. For example, the explanation, Michigan first, Michigan this. Put your money behind your mouth.
100% understand what you're saying. Hold on, Wendy. I'll get to you, and then I'll get to Rob. I think the big thing with that is that we have such hard rules and regulations to get into this state in regards to distribution that people don't fucking care. And
are the rules the same going out of the state?
But I mean, there comes a point where it can only get so far. You're talking Founders and Bell's and Old Nation. We out of like higher breweries that produce more than that, you got Atwater, Shorts, and New Holland. After that, like in between Odd Side and that, you got Keweenaw, Griffin Claw, Saugatuck, and Perrin. Now, maybe there could be a reason why you might not be getting Perrin, like you need more Canarchy stuff. But I think the big thing is it could be one, yes, distro to get into the state. Like obviously it's, oh shit, we lost Josh. Definitely.
I scared him off.
Hard for us to get into the state, but I think there's a lot of hardness to get out of the state. Like I think a lot of people have issues getting beer out, or they can't keep up with the they can't keep up. Sorry, I'm trying to like do the editing so that
it's all good.
I mean, we saw it from Shorts, where Shorts was in Pennsylvania and they couldn't keep up essentially, and they had to back out. But I mean, I guess kind of thinking of Dan's point is that there are so many breweries that people here in Michigan, demand and they trade for, and then
we can't even get.
And then we get it here and it starts to get distroed, and we're like, that honeymoon period is over. It's like what Wes was talking about, where there's a honeymoon period in Texas and people are still clamoring for it. It's not like what it happens here, where we get to things like Ballast Point or Terrapin, where it's like all of a sudden these beers are here and we're like, great, we get to have them. And then all of a sudden it's like 2 months later, we're like, well, fuck their beers. We're moving on to everything else because, we're moving on to the stuff that we're used to drinking. So I guess it's a little difficult to kind of, I guess I'm trying to figure it out on the other end with us putting our beers out to other states. But in looking at what Wes is talking about with Texas and how Texas is still, after that honeymoon period, are still drinking it and wanting it, that, we don't tend to have that here. It doesn't
Dan's an expat of Michigan. Do you see Bell's and Founders selling huge out there, or just sitting on the shelf like Bourbon County does over there? KBS does over there.
Founders sells huge here. We get a large numbers of KBS. There's still CBS on the shelf, but it does move with the numbers that are still here. Bell's, you see two-hearted. You see that light-hearted. You see the Bell's Brown, the best brown. That's all you see here. So that's all, and you'll see Expedition Stout when it's around.
So
other than that,
Wes, hold on. Wes pointed his finger up.
So the biggest thing I can say is that you're going to see whatever distributor is in your state. So whoever has Bell's in Arizona, they say, we want this, we want this, we want this, we want this, and this is how much we want of it. So in hindsight, like, it looks like Bell's is being super strategic or Odd Side's being super strategic, but really it's the distributor knowing their market and saying, we're a good partner. We know that they want browns. We know that they want a session IPA. We know that they want two-hearted. Obviously, it's the number one IPA in the world. So give us all 3 of those. And then whenever you have a seasonal, we'll make a judgment call and we'll say how many cases we want. So, I mean, distribution is just a whole nother complex level of ordering. You have no idea, unless you have chain presence, what's going to be ordered. I have 9 states. I have no idea. I could tell you, maybe 1 or 2 SKUs that are going to be chain present in each state. And then after that, I have no idea what they're going to order.
So that's fair. But at the same time, I do see what people out here chase through the rest of the country, and you don't see them chasing beers from Michigan, is my point too. So it goes back to the thing, is Michigan trying to be like flexing, but they're really 5th overall, 6th overall. Well, everyone's chasing everyone else. You're over here flexing like it's a Special Olympics. Sorry if that offends everyone, but you're over here flexing like that. Well, the real heavy hitters are over here doing the real things. Is that a thing, or am I just imagining that?
I mean,
The biggest thing I can say about that question is Michigan has a lot of breweries, but we don't have a lot of big breweries in the grand scheme of history, of production. I mean, Bell's and Founders are the only 2 that have any bit of mass production, mass distribution. And I mean, I think Bell's is in like 40 plus, and Founders is obviously in 50. They made that apparent last year. And I mean, there's no one in Michigan that's in that tier. You have Colorado that might have 5 to 8 of the top 25 in the country. I mean, there's just places that have better distribution and scaled up quicker and got there big. Oregon. I mean, the top 5 states have some of the biggest breweries in the country for a reason.
I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to summarize what Wes says as we kind of end the show. Michigan's top heavy. Founders and Bell's at the top, and then
That's a good way to say it.
They are, not to take away anything from, for craft breweries, so just Bell's. Not to take away anything from Bell's Brewing. Like, that's just really top heavy. Like, and when I say top, like, they're the best, like, right up there. Like, Too Hard it is the IPA, and then everything else. And it's not saying that they make bad beer. It's not saying they do anything bad or their production's bad or anything like that. It's just simply saying that, they are. It's just a lesser, therefore it's less production, less states, less everything. And, Dan, you are a decent amount away where you're not Ohio, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Indiana, Illinois, where you might see us secondarily because of that, which is why you only see Founders and Bell's and, Old Nation, which is nice to see. Obviously, we need to get you more of that Electron Brown down there. We kind of went over a little bit. Obviously, a great conversation. Wes, thank you so much for joining us. Odd Side Ales. His Instagram has been on this video. You can find the video facebook.com/Better on Draft and on YouTube, Better on Draft. And that's going to do it for us, episode 229, Better on Draft podcast. And no matter what you think of your beer, we think it's
Better on Draft.
Better on Draft. Have a good night.
Peace.